Hey everyone. Today I'm continuing on what I've got started here on Doenrakkar, minotaur, shaman, defender hero from Judgement. And we're just working on his skin. We're gonna make him kind of furry, but first I gotta get in and do some more shadows. So I don't really remember exactly what color I was using, but generally I can get pretty close with some guesses. So right now I'm mixing up some shadows. I've got, again, I mostly use P3 paints. So I'm using Beast Hide and some Cricksbane base, because what I seem to have here is a little darker gray. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and add some umbral umber to it too. And then new thing for today, we're trying out this Pretzel Rocks music feature, because they say it is both safe for Twitch video on demand replays and for YouTube. So maybe if we like this and it turns out okay, you can see these videos later, which has been a thing that hasn't happened yet, really. Maybe upload them to YouTube and see how that goes. Alright, so still mixing up this color. I think I've got somewhere in the close enough vicinity that we can work with this a bit. What I'm going for with Doenrakkar is eventually we're gonna layer up lighter and lighter colors on his skin here, make it look like he's got kind of short fur with short little brush strokes, but shadows come first because that kind of detail disappears in the shadows and you're not gonna see it anyway. So I'm just mixing up quick. I think I've got, didn't quite get a decent base coat on this one like back here. Okay, let's go ahead. Get my blending brush, my main brush, actually. There's a nice size too. This dude's big enough. He needs a bigger brush. Okay, so mostly get a little that's not really the same. Actually, I think I like the shadow color better than what I had started with. So I started him at Adepticon in their hobby lounge, which is great. I love hanging out there. The lighting situation, they actually have lights for you, which is fabulous, but it's just still a little dark, so I'm kind of, you know, guessing on some colors, and we may go over some of these other shadows. That and the hotel where Adepticon was super dry, so I can tell, like, my blends are a little bit rough. And just dried a little too quick. But now that it's springtime here in Chicago, the humidity has definitely jumped up a decent amount, just like the ambient background. And normally during the winter I have like a humidifier going, just to sort of help mitigate that super dryness problem. Doenrakkar, you've got like muscles on your muscles. Thanks, Papa. I mean, it's mostly just a base coat right now and some initial shadows. We're gonna be working on getting a little bit of fur texture in here. But I'm kind of fixing some of the stuff that I didn't quite like from starting him in a basically not my studio space.
It's not a race, but you can't slow down. There ain't a map, no path to follow to find it. But to yourself, you're in last place every day. You can't quit, your heart don't back up. Don't
Yeah, I gotta get these thanks, Jarek. But yeah, I gotta get these muscles all, cause man, is he muscly. But ultimately, like, I spent a huge amount of time doing a crystal brush entry using one of these Judgement models, the Neutral Monster Vujasha. So I'm kind of happy to be back. Like, this guy is just going to be like a gaming model, but I like to spend some extra time because these models are so fun and I want them to look good because they're enormous. So, you know, put a little extra time and effort into these guys, and oh my god, on the table, so worth it. But yeah, Jarek, it was time to get back to the streaming. I was kind of feeling a little like meh about it for a while, and I'm like, it's winter and cold and. But it is actually pretty fun, so. And for anyone who hasn't seen me paint, what I'm doing here is 2-brush blending. Super fast. And basically you have a brush that applies paint and a brush that then, using your saliva, blends the paint out. And because I use mostly P3 paints, they're all non-toxic and certified European food grade safe, which is not to say that you should eat them, and I do clean my brushes in between. And a lot of people are like, oh, don't lick your brushes, it's bad for you. I'm like, yes, I know it's bad for you. I don't do it with any other paint. But since I know these paints and I know they're safe and like specifically designed for this, yeah. 2-brush blending. Awesome and fast. And for a lot of this stuff, like, it's kind of just going to be in shadow anyway, and we're not going to use a whole lot of time or effort on them, because shadows are supposed to be dark and recede, so you're not really going to see them very much anyway. Saves a little bit of time. Music services. So funny. Funny little song. Alright. If you want to get some good coverage on this shoulder here, since it is actually going to be a very visible part of the model. And yeah, I definitely ended up not liking that initial shadow color I had going. Make sure that's all covered. Hey, Patrick. Alright, and I think what I'm going to do for some of the back and the abs here that I've already worked on is just glaze some of this color over the shadow color that I don't like. And then a lot of what we're kind of going to focus on today is getting some of the highlights in here as soon as I get through with these shadows, because the plan is to actually build this up to almost white, but I wanted a warmer base to start from, so it'll be a very warm white. He is actually one of the older models. This is Doenrakkar, so yeah, still a Judgement model. But he was part of Wave 1, like, of their first Kickstarter. But he is, like, just consistently one of the most popular in-demand figures from the line, because he's so damn cool. I mean, I don't know that I've seen another game make like big cool minotaurs like this. And not like, you know, a whole faction of them. Well, not, I don't know. Faction isn't really the right word for Judgment. Race? Because there really aren't any factions. You know, you can pick any combination of heroes. But the Minotaurs are consistently one of the best sellers, I would say. Gendress is one of the female Minotaurs, and she's like just so cool. Really, really amazing model. And I'm definitely getting to her. Like, she's on the short list of things to paint. But Doenrakkar was one that I sort of started and then didn't quite finish for the Judgement tournament at Adepticon. Let's do this leg. I do kind of try to work through some stuff a little quicker. But in general, like, I'm not a super speedy painter. I'm fast enough, I think, but I'm not sure I would ever want to be like in a professional studio or whatnot, being like, turn out all of these models really quick. Alright, we're sort of working on this front leading leg here. I mean, I'm like not really super concerned about how smooth my blends are for this guy, because we are going to come back with a bunch of like small little brush strokes to give him a fur texture. So pretty much like where I can, I'm more like, rather than really super appropriate to brush blending, I'm kind of feathering out the edges, which gives a little bit of an impression of fur. But since we're gonna come back with like a bunch of layers of highlights, again, I'm not super concerned. This like did not get best base coat coverage ever. A lot of it's going to be in shadows, so. And at some point, I'm definitely gonna have to pry him up off of his base here, just to get into him the rest of the way. One of the cool things about the Judgement models is they all come with this kind of playable display base, and you can opt to use it or not. But most of them are really neat. So, like, his is like this rock formation, and since he's kind of an earth shaman, it, you know, makes sense. But there's some parts that are hard to get into, so when that is the case, I tend to just blue tack the model down rather than glue. And that way I can pull them off and get into some of those hard to get paint on spots. We're just gonna make the underside of his calf here kind of dark, because no one's gonna really see that anyway. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up one of the first highlight colors here, and again, we're kind of going for a little bit of a warmer white. I'm kind of thinking of this guy as pretty much like, have you ever seen photos of like the big white steers that, I don't know, I have a history major or two, and like the big sacrificial kind of pretty white bulls that you would see in like Roman times. They're gorgeous animals. And since Doenrakkar is kind of, you know, he's a defender, he kind of is the sacrificial bull. So we're gonna push his skin here up to white. And then I'm not fully decided on what I want to do with the mane yet. Like, cause he's got a lot of this extra fur. We might make it more of, let's see, where's the color I'm looking for? More of a different temperature white, or we might go with something completely different and make it like a black or a brown. Haven't quite decided yet, but most of the time I don't have like a super set plan for any model, and I change my mind a lot. So what I've got going on now is a mix of beast hide and Menoth white base, so it's a very warm yellow. And I am going to switch to my smaller brush and start doing a bunch of little like super light brush strokes, you know, short, thin. And I'm kind of going to build up several layers, and I definitely want to make sure that like there's kind of a direction to the hair pattern, but we also want to get some solid coverage on these upper parts of the model, and we're even going to extend this down almost into the shadows. So hard to believe you're no longer with me. Told me to wait by the ocean, falling deep, you were floating. I remember you said to me. That's cool, Patrick. I feel like that's a class that we've been wanting to do for a while. And then I still have to put up a poll of like what people want to see or have from me, I think. Which I keep meaning to do. Trace when you would sleep beside me, conversations in my sheets, body to body, a sudden hit to my blind side, like a ghost I couldn't find. I remember you said to me, nothing's gonna break us, this love will make us, nothing's gonna break. Yeah, nothing's gonna break us, this love will make us, nothing's gonna break. And then once we get through here, we will come back and pick out like some of the nice big veins and stuff that he's got going on. It's just really good detail. Yeah, that's how you know that it's gonna be popular class. His big bonking stick getting in the way. Alright, catch around Patrick. Alright, so let's see, on the start of this forward leg, we're starting to build up some texture here. It is definitely like a multi-step process. I'm actually going to come while I have some of the shadow color and just bring a few little strokes back up into it so the lines aren't too harsh, particularly around here. And it's a little bit of a back and forth. I kind of just want to break up any like very hard lines. And then, like, pretty much for like which direction to make the fur pattern, I tend to go with like whatever seems like is in the direction of gravity. And like if there's a place where, you know, maybe a part's going to occur, then I'll do the fur pattern going down one side and then the other. for much more of these legs here. I can definitely do like the top back of his calf. And then he's got some really nice, like, super muscly veins and whatnot, that we will for sure be coming back to re-emphasize. And again, I kind of do almost just want to go all the way into the shadows. I'm leaving a little bit, because then I'll come back and bring some of that just back up into it, but it gives a really nice texture. For some of these places where like the hair is gonna get a little shorter, try to do smaller brush strokes or just blend it in, because if you're not going to see the pattern, then you might as well have a nice blend. Alright. I think that's it for his legs for now. Let's get a little on the back of this heel. Let's get started on some of the chest. And I kind of want to bring this all the way into the shadows, because it's not going to fully cover. And then we don't want to build up too much of a highlight in like the really, really dark shadows. So like under his arms, I'm probably not going to do pretty much anything. And then I kind of tend to bounce around a little. Alright, and then let's see. I totally missed a little bit of a shadow on the top of this arm here. Kind of continue with the fur pattern. Trying to figure out. It's probably one of those areas where the fur would fall in a bit of a part. This horn's right in the way. I'm gonna start up at the top, going back down this way a little, and then over here. I'm gonna switch the part to go. You kind of want to figure out where the gravity is going to take the fur, how it's going to fall. Things like, I never really thought when I was getting into some of this texture stuff and miniatures, like, how is this minotaur going to have his hair parted or fur? It's so funny. And then I'll look at my dog and she's got some weird like cowlick kind of parts on her chest. It's really funny. Of course, on a painted model, you don't have to deal with shedding. But when you have a husky, ooh, is that a fact of life? So I'm gonna leave his hands alone for now, because I actually do just blend the colors over, because it's not like he's really gonna have long hair on his knuckles or anything. I'll go ahead and do his other arm. know right now some of the highlights seem a little extreme. We certainly are going to add more to them. So the gradient's going to be a little less like harsh. Like right now it's like super contrasty lines. But like everything, models all seem to have like a shit stage. Like, you know, it looks really cool when it's done, but they totally pass through this phase where, God, this looks like garbage. There's this one little spot by his horn that's just really tricky to keep under the camera, so just go through it quick and move on. Some very dramatic music now. Makes painting sound very exciting, like a Mission Impossible movie. And then hopefully the camera's picking up the texture okay. Or at least the brush strokes. That ultimately it's not like super noticeable until you get up close. And then you're like, oh wow, this dude's got fur. And the first highlight of the fur is always the slowest because you're working on getting the pattern. You've got to cover the most area, and after this it actually does tend to go a little quicker. You know, as always, if you've got any questions, just throw them up in chat. I do try to keep an eye on it about, you know, as we go along. Keep on going, building this up. We are nearly done with the first layer of this fur texture. And honestly, like, it's a little extra time consuming, but it's pretty easy for the really nice effect that it creates, so. Like, I've done this on a bunch of War Machine Hordes circle war beasts, particularly the warp wolves and the goats. Usually turns out pretty nice. And then the other thing is, like, I'm not blending anything at the moment. So if you're not super confident in some of your blending skills, you can cheat and make a really cool blended effect without doing any blending at all. I'm going to add some down here because there's so much expanse of his back. And we'll probably come back with some of the shadow color again to put some of the darker shadows back in. And then we've just got this big old area of shoulder to do here. I'm going to cover the whole area with the initial for texture. And we'll get back into layering some more highlights. And if we lose some of our shadows, we can always layer mid-tone and shadow back in. Where it's going to be a little tricky because I'm trying to get in by his horn. He's actually a very tall model, so I'm sure the focus on my camera is not super pleased with this. So there we go. We've got our initial sort of fur pattern, and then from here I'm gonna make probably another step or two up, but I'm gonna quick do some blending on his face. And I want to make sure that his face kind of stays where I need it to be, sort of brightness wise. So we always want to make sure that our focus is on the face. And then I am actually kind of thinking I might do some darker hair because it would really pop the face out here. Just a little more. Alright, let's go ahead and make that next highlight color for the fur, and then you can really start to see how this ends up taking shape. We're gonna go with some Menoth white base. Just a touch of Troll Blood highlight because it's a really yellow color. Troll Blood highlight is a more neutral, slightly I would still say it's a slightly warm gray, but it's certainly way more neutral than this sort of yellow, very yellow color. White, so yeah, that's the Menoth white highlight, or base, Menoth white base. Don't want to kill all of that warmth. But it's going to start to look more yellow than white. Which is not really what I want. Leg here. we're still building up some more highlights. But we don't want to fully go over everything that we have already done. So I kind of want to keep this highlight inside and smaller than the other ones we've done, or that first one we just did. Particularly down here on the legs where they're not going to be super duper visible anyway. This one in the front's gonna be a little more so, of course, because it's held forward. Continuing on with the, optical illusion that he's got for these legs are a little harder to see here. he's starting to brighten up a little. When I started him, I was sort of worried, like, you know, if my goal was that he end up being kind of like a warmer white, then I might have started too dark. But it always brightens up much quicker than I expect. Bicep. I definitely want to follow some of these like muscle forms down a little with the hair highlight. I also try and keep my brush strokes just a little shorter for these highlights. And then the ones from before still act kind of as a base, and these are, again, smaller, finer. Started working on this back shoulder. And then I've kind of used some of this highlight here to define this little extra muscular group and definition. So it's kind of like even our base coats and earlier highlights almost become shadows and help define some of the more subtle forms even more. Part of the shoulder. he's definitely starting to look more of that warm white, more like the sacrificial bull. Of course, in the game, he's like so tough that he's not really gonna die unless you're sending some real heavy hitters after him. And oftentimes, it doesn't even seem worth it. Try and kill him. He's got this ability called Stone Form. Which, like, he's easier to hit, but his armor, well, his effectively armor value gets even higher, so. So there we go. The things start to go quicker now with the highlights, because they stay a little smaller. And then what I'm going to do next is add some minotaur white highlight into what we were just using, which was a mix of minotaur white base and troll blood highlight. Because we don't want to use the straight minotaur white highlight until the very last highlight. So this is going to be kind of about half and half, I would say, of what we were just using and the minotaur white highlight. We're still going to kind of keep these smaller, shorter little strokes. That seems to happen a lot in this house. And I'm also trying to be careful to do smaller brush strokes here. Very light pressure. In some places it's almost just stippling, which is like almost more tiny dots than like a full because we're definitely building up here. We're on the next to last highlight, and then what we do is we go back with some of the base coat color, make sure that these shadows are a little smoother transitions than what we have at the moment. Completely missed this on before this. Thankfully, I have a wet palette. Alright, let's work on the back, because that's one of the most interesting parts here. Whisper texture. Keeping it a little smaller. Then you can kind of see that we're getting a pretty nice transition here, particularly on this muscle group, from light down into dark. Means we are almost there. Hey, thanks for the follow, Primal Poodle. On the top of his arm. This very tall model. Excellent. Well, welcome to the stream. I remember who you are, Ben. I promise. I'm pretty sure I do actually follow you on Facebook. I haven't had much of an opportunity to catch up in my Twitch following. But I do better at my other social media, I promise. Definitely want to add more of this highlight back here. And I sort of bounce around and then figure out where I need more. Yeah, he's a fantastic model. He's been on my must paint soon list, so I'm like, you know what? I sort of started him over Adepticon, and had a very loose plan. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna finish him because he just looks so good on the table. And I know at some point Chad is gonna do some more demos, and he's one of the very, very good models to have out for demo purposes, because I mean, look, he's enormous and so cool looking. Big ass minotaur. Alright. I'm gonna do a little more on his face here. I've sort of put that off and now bring it in line with the rest of the stuff. Yeah, the way I look at it for price point is basically every model is a heavy warjack or warbeast. And kind of if you know what you want to play, you only need 7 heroes, like, total. So like, you know, ultimately it is less than a full War Machine army list, but you know, sometimes of course we have to choose how to budget. And I just like these guys so much because they're so much bigger. Like, just really fabulous models. Yeah, we definitely went the all-in kind of mode with this game. Um, but like we like to play computer MOBAs. So we knew we would kind of enjoy the game format because it's certainly inspired by how those work. And then for me as a painter, like, it was just super exciting to have some bigger, awesome looking stuff. Yeah, we haven't bought into Montauk. I've gotten some random stuff. I think I have either a Zor Maxim or Zor Raiden sitting over there. And some buildings. But like, we don't actually have any of the game. This is kind of Judgement has kind of taken our like skirmish game spot. Okay, so I think he's starting to look a bit like a big, dramatic, sacrificial bull. I'm gonna run away for a quick second because I can hear my dog making a little bit of a ruckus upstairs. So I will be back in 2 minutes after I think she probably needs to run out. So, back soon. Alright, I'm back. The dog lost something under the couch. And is kind of relentless. Welcome, everyone! Yeah, we all ran away for a minute. Alright, so I actually pretty much just mostly finished his fur. I've still got a little bit of transition work to do, but I think I'm actually gonna block in some of these other colors. I think, let's see. I think we're going for like a circle cow look almost. Alright, let's do that. Barbell Master of Menoth, huh? What Menoth stuff has you excited lately? As I break out some colors here so I've got something to talk about. Well, I know, Riker, what you play. I'm always interested in what seems to be going on in the War Machine world, even though I'm like super solidly into Judgment right now. As I get stuff all over. Haha. Alright, 8-bit barbells, you are about to get the spiel. And that's like trademark. So Judgment is a 54mm like MOBA inspired, so like League of Legends, Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, that kind of game. And you can either do 3 heroes versus 3 heroes or 5v5. And there are neutral monsters that you get loot from. And this is one of the models. He's a minotaur defender. and they're all 54 millimeter scale, so they're big. And it's played on either a 2-foot diameter map for the smaller game, or a 3-foot diameter, like, circle. It's like like an arena or something. And the maps are set, so like they have set, the smaller ones in particular have set terrains, so you roll a map and like that's the one you play. So it's pretty balanced around that. And the goal is to destroy your opponent's effigy, so it's kind of like their, you know, their main core or whatever, if you know anything about the MOBA genre. And you can do that either through gathering souls that are randomly on the map, or killing opponent's heroes, which will give you souls, and that reduces the health of the effigy. And or you can just straight up kill the effigy, your opponent's effigy, to win. But it looks just super incredible on the tabletop, and for like a painter like me, I adore these models. Hi, Sneaky Rhino. But yeah, let's see. I normally have a few more out on my tabletop here. But honestly, like I have part of one. So there's like this rogue guy. So this is like half of the model. The other half is like hiding behind. He's an elf rogue. So kind of scale-wise, you can tell like the minotaurs are huge. And then I'm gonna put him aside and see if I can grab. I actually did one for Crystal Brush, and this is one of the neutral monsters. So she's on a big base, so I'm not gonna. And she's just a remarkably cool model. So, but I've done her more like for display purposes rather than gaming ones. So he's a gaming model, the Minotaur. But anyway, the models are fantastic. I can't recommend them highly enough. And the game is really fun. So I'll put that down. So they are an Australian-based company. So I think they're still working on getting more like actual brick and mortar game stores to carry them. But Discount Games Incorporated, if you're in the US, sells the whole range. Like more and more game stores are picking up the line. So I know Grognard, if you're in the Chicago area, Grognard Games carries a bunch. If you're in the Seattle area, Mox Boarding House carries a bunch. But yeah, they're fabulous. There is a UK seller, but I'm not in the UK, so I don't really remember what they are. There is a Facebook group called Judgmental. So if you search for that and join the group, I'm sure someone will actually be able to answer. Yeah, I don't know about what's around in California either, but again, Discount Games, their online retail part definitely has the whole range, and I think like Jay gives free shipping for $50 and over, and since most of the heroes are like $55 each, because like they're huge and resin. I was telling Primal Poodle that it's like, if you know War Machine, it's like buying a heavy Warjack or Warbeast kit. So anyway, this guy is a defender, so he's gonna keep the rest of your heroes safe. Or at least that's the idea. He's hard to kill, and you know, doesn't necessarily hit hard under all circumstances, but one of the cool things about the game is by killing neutral monsters or being base to base with your core, you can, your effigy, you can buy loot items to sort of, so you can do 3v3 or 5v5, and there's a mechanic that, like, in, say, a tournament, for a 3v3 match, you need 5 heroes because you can ban one of your opponents, and then you pick from the pool of 4 that you have left. And then for 5v5, it's like a 7 hero warband. You ban one of your opponents and pick from the 6 that you have left. But again, like, for casual stuff, like, if you know what you're gonna play, you can sort of do without the pick and ban. So it's not too bad. A lot of people sort of get hung up on the price point. But again, like, the models are incredible, therefore, like, seems pretty... Yeah, total MOBA stuff. Anyway, for me, the price point seems legit, because they're fantastic models. They each come with their own display base. Wow. Twitch is getting super caught up. Oh, lag. So yeah, I mean, that's the basics kind of the game. I've certainly been painting a lot more than I've been playing, but like, a lot of the times I'm not super excited about playing the games, and this one, like, that's not true of. That's kind of going to be embossed leathery look. Yeah, if you follow, Judgement has a channel of videos and stuff. You can sort of look at the gameplay some before getting, you know, making a decision or whatnot. A lot of people I know have sort of impulse bought them, like, just because they're cool models. One of the guys who created it was at Adepticon recently, selling stuff with the Muse on Minis booth. And because there are a lot of people who really like to paint at Adepticon, like, they sold a ton. It's like, oh, this is a cool model. I'm gonna buy this just to paint it. Awesome, Rhino. There is also a Discord group if you guys like. I know the Creation Ship Fleet is got a pretty active Discord. Judgement has one too, and I'm not really sure. I've never been able to figure out how to link into chat, but I also don't know if I have Discord on this computer. Alright, that should be the Discord link for the Judgement channel. And the creators of the game are also, like, they're in that Discord all the time. So they're still super available, which is kind of cool. Alright, so there's some leather. And then I think I want to do something brighter. Let's do some green. Of course, my greens are like as far away as I possibly can. Okay, greens. I made it. Yeah, I'd be surprised if you didn't. Particularly, like, my husband is pretty active in there, so Cheddar Caveman, like, is his handle around. And again, he's happy to give his version of the spiel on Judgement. But yeah, I'm super into this game, and we'll probably be trying to blast out at least a fully painted, like, demo set. I'm almost there now. So, yeah, this guy is kind of like a earth shaman type, so I'm gonna get a little more like nature colors in here. And something a little bright with the green. I have not really had much of a plan with this guy other than like white sacrificial bull type. So we're kind of inventing what I want to do as we go along. But hey, thanks, Rhino. Yeah, my Instagram is just not super, like, I'm still trying to make myself use it. Man, I resisted some of this extra social media stuff for so long. And I really wish Instagram was a little more friendly, like played nicer with others, or played nicer with links, or but yeah, I've been trying to post the finished stuff that I do. I can get lazy about taking pictures. But thanks. Yeah, and like I said, I've been trying to make sure that when I post to Facebook, I also post to Twitter and Instagram. So that, you know, whatever your sort of preferred social media site is, that I get onto all of them. Alright, I think I like the green. It's always interesting, so I look on the screen and I'm like, oh, he actually does look really white. I feel like he looks more white through the camera than in person. Which I know none of you are actually able to see, but I think I'm getting what I want with him so far. I still have to figure out what I want to do with this guy's, like, hair. Mane. Whatever, I suppose. But I definitely find, like, blocking some of these colors in after I do most of the skin is super useful. So right now I use mostly P3 paints at the moment. I really like them. I really like their consistency. They work the best for how I like to blend. You know, this is a base coat, so I'm not really doing any right now, but I use a lot of two-brush blending. Which these paints were specifically formulated for. I sort of learned from a lot of the privateer studio painters early on when I was beginning my miniature painting journey. So that's frequently just, it's comfortable, it's what I fall back on, and it's quick. So, however, I did get to play with some really nice paints at Adepticon. They were the Chimera colors. And they're much more like artist paints. Like they're made with pure pigments. And you do, I think there's only like something like 12 of them total. And you mix all of the colors, which I was a lot more used to doing back when I was doing more like fine art type work. But their consistency was incredible because they're designed for miniatures, but are more like artist paints. So I'm probably going to be branching out. I also did the Scale 75 Artist Color Kickstarter, and I got a set of 12 for them, and then I did the flesh tone set, but they haven't arrived yet, and I haven't gotten to use them. So I'm going to be trying some new things, but largely I fall back onto my very comfortable P3 paints. That was probably a longer story than it needed to be, but whatever, fill up the airtime, right? Ben, when did you start painting minis? So many people started so much before me, but see, 99. I think I was a sophomore in high school in 99. You know what? That's really funny. So I was in, it was pretty much one of her last go-arounds through the country. Yeah, I think 2012. Before she left and moved to Australia. But she did one here in Chicago. And I was in it, and Shoshi Bauer was in it, and Anthony Rodriguez was in it. And kind of after that, all at the same time, we're like, we're gonna be pro painters. It's funny, I wonder sometimes if Meg realizes, like, how much of an influence and impact she's actually had. Yeah, it does seem like that is the case. But like, even just, you know, starting from somewhere of being serious, like, who made me want to take this really seriously? It was Meg Maples. So that, I think that's cool. Blue hair, huh? I was definitely thinking about going a little brighter, but what if it was like almost black with much bluer highlights? Kind of cool. This is actually, so I use Streamlabs for my streaming. This is Pretzel Rocks. They're a music app plugin for Streamlabs, and supposedly it is like, what a digital rights management, copyright, or whatever letters, acronym, free, so like it's safe for both Twitch replays and like if I uploaded it to YouTube. I have some fun hair colors in mind for some of the elves. But as like a nature shaman, like I want him to be exciting, but I don't want him to stray too far away. Yeah, so what I've been doing for music pretty much before this is just playing my favorite stations on Google Music, which I have a subscription for. And then basically being muted on the replays and stuff, but like, you know, not everybody can tune in or watch, or so having the replays is really nice. Of course, eventually, I'm in my like free trial mode right now. Eventually, like, I'll have to pay a subscription for this too, and I think they do want to do like an all-the-time free kind of level with most of the music available, but I don't know if that's a thing that they're doing yet. But like, it would be nice for people to be able to watch my videos later with sound. So, I don't know. For a little while there was a Twitch FM Spotify channel, but that wasn't, like, that wouldn't work with YouTube because they're different. It's just such a pain in the butt. Yeah, I think if his hair here is really dark, like, it's gonna bring more attention, like, right back to his face. So, that could be cool. Like I said, I haven't really decided yet. We'll see what shapes out. But I'm kind of just going to try and get a halfway decent base coat here for his green fabric stuff. we're starting to get towards the end of the time I have available to stream this afternoon. Oh no, I got some green on his leg. Never happened. But anyway, yeah, music hasn't been horrible, so I've actually been pretty impressed. Alright, oh, there's a big one right in here. I think what I'm going to do with this, there's a bit of a pattern on this leather armor, so I'm going to pop that out with some, like, make it look like metallic embossed or something. Of course, one of the things that I always think about is like, oh, how could I do this as like a Horde Tauren? And then I'm like, why didn't I do this as a Horde Tauren? Who knows? Maybe I'll get a chance to paint another Doenrakkar someday. Chances are not, you know, not impossible. It's like, it reminds me of having like different skins, you know, in a MOBA, to be like, oh, what if I did these colors instead? And I'm like, no, stick with the colors you have. Paint them again later. I mean, I would love to get some Judgement commissions. They are such fun models. Of course, right now I've been like, I need to get my own stuff painted. But yeah, that's kind of the hope. It'd be better than painting units, that's for sure. I hate nothing more than painting units. Maybe another reason why I really like this game. There are only heroes. And a small number of neutral monsters, and you don't need more than like 2 of any of them. So then, Ben, you have a model that you're like super looking forward to painting? Because I know a bunch of new ones sort of came out, or are coming out. Or in general. Like, I don't need to keep things 100% like Judgment only all the time. That's super cool. I bought, while I was at Adepticon, I bought 2 Creature Caster models. And let's see, I also bought a Scale 75 Orc Shaman lady. She's super cool. Both of the creatures, like, they're huge, and I'm so excited. I'm like, let's go bigger. Let's just go bigger and bigger. And then, I did this, like, Mad Max-esque model, in one of my classes, and I have him here. You know, bring him under the camera for a second. So, like, I finished, ish. He has a couple more little bits, but he's mostly finished. And he's a Chimera Models one. It's so different. It's so fun. But yeah, the creature caster stuff is really cool. They have some dragons that I would really love to get. Thanks, Reno. So yeah, I'm trying to get into some more display stuff. So I kind of feel like, you know, the Judgement models are great to sort of show that, you know, some of these more like 75 millimeter scale ones are really going to show that. I think the creature caster ones, they're a little risque though. Like, I think we're gonna brighten up his face a little in the last few minutes and see how it feels. But yeah, I've got a bunch of more like display stuff that I'm excited about, so I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one. It's been a little harder to be excited about some of the smaller stuff. Because I've kind of been on a real big texture kick, which I'm sure will settle down at some point eventually. Oh man, don't get me started on the whole gender parity thing. Just give me some sexy dudes, for goodness sake. But yeah. So I got the tree walker lady. I thought she was real neat, and not so much because I'm not into super horror either. I tend to really go for like the traditional fantasy type stuff, and I thought she was neat. But then I did get one of the demon ladies. Exactly, Rhino. That's exactly how I'm feeling with them too. Let's see, I think I can put him down for a sec. I think she's just about within reach. I bump my leg with my headphones. And then my elbow against the wall. 'Cause I'm a klutz. Alright, so this is the, and she's quite large. Like, if he's down here, so she's, lady. She's got some really fabulous bark. She has yeah, no, she's not too bad. Like, there's certainly definitely some probably unnecessarily sexualized elements, but, you know, like, her whole skin tone is gonna be like a bark color, so... Oh yeah, there's much worse. I'm not really sure why a tree has to have boobs, but, she does have a really interesting face, though, too. Like, super neat. But yeah, again, like, so, Doenrakkar's, you know, 54 millimeter scale, and, like, I'm not even sure what she's supposed to be, but let's see, here's a, let's move Mr. Dunn over, but this is, like, your traditional, you know, 30 mil scale, and she's just supposed to be huge. So I'm really excited about that, and there again, there's like a lot of space for bark texture and everything. And the other one I got isn't quite assembled yet. Okay, good. I wasn't sure about that. I just thought they were super cool. But I don't, like, actually play any of the GW games, really. Like, we got one of the Shadespire Underworlds or whatever box, but I think we've played it like twice. But yeah, it would be super neat to have some of these larger models just to paint. Gotcha. Anyway, friends, it's 4 o'clock and I have a husband to pick up at a train station here super soon, so interesting. Yeah. They definitely seem to have the demon stuff, that aesthetic. But anyway, guys, I will catch you next time, because I gotta go. Again, I'll probably be back Thursday night, because it's a good time. Generally, Chad's out of the house and things are quiet, so otherwise he tends to want to talk to me. So, you know, darn husbands. But thanks for hanging out with me, and hopefully we'll see you again.